start. Fine. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Aleichem Shalom. Hilly, Lichtnstein. Good morning.
What's the name of your company?
Newstone AECC.
Newstone AECC. So tell me a little bit about your background.
And what's your name?
Nesanel Gantz.
Hi, Nesanel. Nice to meet you.
Very good. So you're conducting the interview. I'm good to go.
Okay.
So tell me a little of your background story. Before we get to what you do today, tell me your background. What did you get into business? Where you from? What's your...
When I was a very young bocher, I started out working as a plumber, and then I went into fire sprinklers.
Did you always like working with your hands? It was always something that interested you? You always were like...
I always liked
handy
hustling.
Guy?
I liked filling up my days with work. I liked the hustle.
Were you always handy as a kid?
Yes. I always liked to break stuff and put it back together. Or put something together and then break it.
Okay, fine, good. And then so you started as a
plumber. At a very young age, I went into plumbing, then I went into fire sprinklers, and then I went into a company that had 21 states properties.
You were working for them?
And I did the management.
Real estate manager, property management. Okay, cool. How old were you when you started that?
25.
How old are you now?
38.
Okay, so 25. So you started working as property manager. That's cool.
And I did over there approximately 8 years.
Okay, nice.
Then they sold the portfolio.
And you went along with it?
And they told me that I have options. And I looked around my options and I said best options to be is to take my struggles on the side and go on myself.
To do what? To do property management?
So what I do is I was always having a struggle on creating blueprints of existing buildings. So if I want to renovate a building, I can have it in CAD, I can redraw it, I can make new layouts and see what I want.
Why would you need that? You were a property manager, so like...
Because we renovated buildings made from studios, 1 bedrooms, from 2 bedrooms, 1 bigger 1 bedroom. We always played around as the rental in certain areas was different for certain things. We customized the apartments to take the most out of it.
Gotcha, okay. So you weren't just a manager, you also actually helped oversee the construction as well.
I was overseeing most of maintenance, construction, stuff like that.
Explain this
and
issue.
Most of it was government properties or triple net lease, so there wasn't really knocking on doors for rent.
Okay, cool.
So my responsibility was to upkeep the buildings for the best cost.
So you had this issue that you weren't having proper blueprints, you had to like start from scratch?
Every time. I had to sit down and draw and everything. And my other issue was that every time I came to renovate a building, let's say I was on one project in Ohio, when I came into the company, we started renovation, it was done a year after, and 5 years later, we started renovation again, and I looked at my boss, I told him, why don't I have pictures where I pulled all the pipes, all the wires, and everything else? So those are the 2 things that bugged me in the industry that I couldn't figure out to make work. So when I saw an opportunity of staying working for someone, or maybe doing something that nobody else is doing yet at the time, I'm gonna go try to pursue that.
So what'd you do?
I went out, I had enough time. While the transition, I got a year.
Severance?
I got a year severance.
That's a dream, man, that's a dream.
But I had to be involved in the transition.
Okay, not so much though.
But I had a lot of time on my hands. So I started studying what bothers me. And as you study, you go on the internet, you find companies, you find software things, and then you bring in your own software people, you tell them your vision. They put stuff together.
So what did you try to do? What was your business? How did you start?
So my business is now that I come into existing projects, interior, exterior of buildings, and I create as-built blueprints in CAD, in Revit, in PDF, with all type of elevations, with all detailed measurements. If you want the MEP, which is mechanicals, if it's open, it's visible, we can see it, it will be drafted, and you're gonna have it on your plan. Pipe size.
I'm assuming people would only ask you for that when they want to do work, right? A guy has a random building, it's very hard to, hey, in the middle of the day, to say, hey, I need this done. It's only when there's a need-be basis, I'm assuming, whether it's renovation or selling, am I correct?
And there's always a need basis. There's every day a few buildings selling.
Obviously, I'm saying with a person who's hiring you.
And there's always somebody buying a building with a vision of what he wants to do with it.
I'm saying the people who are hiring you are not doing it stam. It's only on a need-be basis, more or less, correct?
Yes, it's designers, architects, engineers, contractors.
Would you say that most buildings do not actually have the existing blueprints? They don't have any layout? They're all starting from scratch every time? Like the Mama's restarting the blueprint?
No, it depends. If it's a building that was built in the last 15 years, it should be in your town a set of plans. But again, the owner of the building knows if he added cosmetic walls inside, that's not on the structural plan. Sometimes you come into a building, you just add cosmetic walls. It's not on the plan to divide some offices and things like that, but the person taking over that building wants that detail on the plan.
I hear that. So run me through the process.
We have a crew.
I call you up, we have a building, I want to maybe sell it. Run me through the process.
So usually when I get the call, it's the people that know that they need as-builts.
Right.
So they look for a company that does it, they reach out to me, they tell me what the scope they need, what they have. I love what I do. Every single day. I don't work a single day in my life. That's how much I love.
I love a guy who worked for somebody and then had a problem, had to start a business to start the problem. Started by yourself, obviously, right? The higher ass you went along. I built the whole Chashuv company. That's very, very impressive.
Thank you.
What would you say to
Hashem did that. Just so you know.
For sure. What would you say to other people, other young guys who are like, a lot of people today face this middle of the ground road where like the mamash quote unquote in between jobs, right? They worked for a company for many years, had a chashuv salary, and then they let them go, right? And now they're at the crossroads. Do they start working with someone again, or do they have the guts to go on their own? What would you say to a guy like that?
A person needs to know himself, what he's good at and what he's not. I knew to create a staff behind me in the office because it's not something I could do. I hope this interview won't take that long for me to lose the patience of sitting. My desk in the office is without a chair. I stand.
Oh, yeah?
I operate standing. I think sitting lazies me down. I don't like to be
I like
lazy.
this. You have a standing desk?
Yes.
Cool.
And I operate standing. I think I'm more focused, I'm more energetic, and I knew what I'm not good at.
Which is paperwork.
Paperwork, office, certain things.
I like it.
So I made sure from day one that I have a certain team behind me to back me up with that.
I love it. First, I love your whole style. You have a whole cool style vibe going on. You're matching. I don't know if you plan to match the orange band to your cufflinks. Epic stuff. Epic stuff.
That's my company logo. It's black, gray, and orange.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
That's cool. I like that. So tell me about.
So
Go ahead.
Most of my stuff that I dress related to business will not have a logo on it because I'll rather embed my colors into you than the logo into you.
I like it. It's very cool. Well, I always ask people this question: how do you deal with stress?
I smile. All the time.
But when you're nervous, though, you're gonna get yourself out by smiling. You're nervous. Something's going tense.
So ask people that know me. I always smile. I believe that smiling is happiness under your nose.
So
for free.
You're saying you can get you out of it, even if you are tense. I like that. Why did you come to OJBA?
So I have another part of the business besides blueprints that we come into projects and we do 3D documentation prior to installation in sheetrock or prior to covering the underground. On big projects or mikvahs or many other things that you might have future work going down and you need to add toilets or any kind of plumbing, you want to know exactly where the pipe physically went in versus...
It's kind of the same idea of what you did previously. It's all the same mishpacha.
Correct, but when you get back a file from us, you get it in 3D. You can walk the project like Google Street View.
That's cool.
You can actually go into a point. Let's say this is a plug, and that's a pipe or an outlet anything else, and you want to know how far this is from this, you can actually measure in the system.
That's very cool.
And you just walk up with a sheetrock knife and you open up what's missing or what's covered or what you want to add or what you want to snake.
Is that a new part of your business, so to speak?
At the same time.
Right.
Because the same things bothered me at the same time.
I mean, once you have that down, you could branch out to so many things. Even let's say real estate agents are trying to do showings. You can map the whole house.
But that's the reason why I'm at OJBA and I don't believe in that. I believe that if you want to sell something, if you want to continue relationships with people, it will never work through VR and the way I was growing up. Maybe my kids and your kids and grandkids will communicate live through VR.
I meant that you have the ability with your technology.
I do sometimes for showings,
yeah.
But at the end of the game, they got to meet that person to close the deal.
For sure.
So it's not...
So you're saying the bottom, you come to a place like OJBA because even though your business is...
Today already, I'm here since 9 o'clock. I've met 5 clients. With their staff, I knew obviously the people I deal with. I never met the staff that I talked to on the phone. And it was the most beautiful thing.
That's an important fact.
It was the most beautiful thing. People don't understand how many people come for only an hour here and take out their workers. And guess what? You put a name to a face And the next time you talk to that person off your phone, it's a different conversation.
That's a very good point also. People often think that you come to an event specifically to try to always get new business. It's a mistake. The 80-20 rule applies to business all the time. When you focus on people you have.
It's always 80-20.
Absolutely. More than that, you maintain the relationship is so much more valuable.
That's the only value, because that relationship is what brings you more.
But people often think differently. This I want another person. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you understand and recognize, hey, these guys take care of me, I'll take care of them. That's the way to go. So listen, I really appreciate your time. It was great speaking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.